this is Catherine Arnold, and I'm showing you today how to make some refrigerator magnets, and these are specifically for Mother's Day. I have already launched CorelDRAW, and if you look at the example in the handout from this particular item in the Project Center, you will see that the focal point of the item is the flower, and then with the picture in the center. So the first thing I need to do is to draw the petals of my flower. I'll do that by making sure that my auto shape is selected over here in the left panel, and that gives me then some options on the properties toolbar for it. I'll click this little drop down arrow next to the item that looks like a parallelogram. One of the options I'm given is something that looks like a teardrop, but I can turn that into a flower petal quite easily. So I'll select the teardrop and I'll draw in my first petal, getting it to the shape and dimension that I want it to be. And my default in my program where I've set it is an object to come in no fill with a red outline, which is not what I want here. So I'm going to remove the outline and give it a black fill. And now what I'll do is I'll just take this item and I'll copy and paste it and change the angle of rotation to add in the other petals. So the item is selected, and for my keyboard I can do a Control-C, which is copy, and then a Control-V as in Victor, which is paste. And it's put another one directly on top of the item below. I can just click and drag it off. Now I can change the angle of rotation on it. I'm just going to do a guess here, maybe put in 15 degrees. And move it more towards the center. 15 is probably not enough, so let's look at maybe 25. That's probably still not enough, so let's go 35, and there, that looks pretty good. So I'll just copy and paste, change the angle of rotation until I have a circular format that looks more like a flower. I'm going to pause the video and come back when I've completed my flower. So I have my flower completed here, and what I need to do is to make sure that these items are grouped together. I have them over here on a layer, and I can select the top one, hold shift down on my keyboard, select the bottom one. It selects all of them. I can do a Control-G on the keyboard, which then will group all of those items. Okay, now I'm going to get the ellipse. I want what I'm drawing to be a perfect circle, so I'll hold the Control key down on my keyboard and I'll draw a circle in. And the circle that I have, let me get my pick tool. I'll pick the circle, select it, and I will decide what dimensions I want. I'm going to go over to the transformation docker and make sure that my size is selected, and make sure that non-proportional is not checked, because I want my circle to stay proportional. It means I want it to be a perfect circle. And let's put in just 1.35. I'm just kind of guessing here. I would say a picture that will be displayed in this circle be anywhere between 1¼ inches and 1½ inches. So that's the size I'll kind of gear for with my circle. And now I've placed it on top of the petals in pretty much the center of the petals. You will want to make sure that your shaping docker is available. If you do not see it over in your right panel, you can go up to Window, Dockers, and down to Shaping, and when you click on it, it will add that green check mark. I already have a green check mark because my shaping docker is already appearing. So now I want all the items selected on here, so I'm going to do Control-A with my keyboard, which selects all of my items. And with trim selected, if your trim is not selected, generally weld is the default. Use the drop down, select trim, leave source objects checked, click on trim, and then click on one of the petals. And now you have trimmed away the excess petals that you don't want engraved because the center item is going to be cut out anyway. And now it also has the red cut line going around the center, so that center part is in fact cut out. Now what I want to do is to add in some text that will be on my magnet, and in order to get a curve I'm going to be putting my text on a path, and to do that I'll get my ellipse and I'm just going to kind of draw in here the shape that I want my text to be in. Keep in mind that this red line that you currently see is not going to be on the finished product. I'm merely putting it in there as a place marker for my text. So on the top part it's going to say Happy Mother's Day. So now I'll get my text tool, and when I put my cursor next to the ellipse, you'll see it turns into an A with a little curvy line underneath it. That indicates that when I click, I can then start typing and my text will be along that curved line. I'm going to go through this rather fast. There's a very detailed lesson in the Corel Center under Corel Draw, the Novice section titled Text on a Curved Path, which goes through a lot of this in detail. So I'm just going to type in my first part of text. And my text has been typed in. I can get my pick tool and I can move my text along this curved path. I can select the text. I can change the size of it. I can change the font. And now that I've changed the font, I'm probably going to readjust the size again. And that is how I've added in the text above. I will then draw in 2 more ellipses down below. If you see in step 5 in the handout, you can see how those 2 ellipses were aligned next to each other. I'm not going to do that in the video. I'm just going to show you real quick that over here in the Object Manager you can see this ellipse and this text are joined together. We will want to break those apart so that the ellipse can then be deleted and then it will not show up on the finished product. So with the ellipse selected from the Object Manager, you can go to Arrange and break text apart. And it breaks those 2 items apart. So then you can just select the ellipse in the Object Manager and delete it. And the text is there. Keep in mind that once you break it apart and delete the ellipse, you can no longer edit your text. So make sure that you do one of 2 things. Either you save a copy of the file that has the text and the ellipse still joined, and then work on your new copy, your second copy, where you then unjoin it or break it apart in, I guess, Corel Draw technical terms. Or you just make darn sure that you have completed what you want to complete before you do that step. Now, I can go through and with the text tool, I can, if I misspelled something, I can change that. It still will allow me to edit the text in that manner. But what I can't do is change the positioning along that path of the curve. So if I notice that my Mother's Day isn't centered, or I want more of a curve than what there currently is, I can't change that now. I'm going to pause the video and I'm going to come back when I have all of my text entered. Okay, so I have all of the text entered, all of the text broken apart, and the ellipses have been deleted. Now I need to create an outline hairline so that my item can be cut out of my mirrored acrylic. So I'll draw in a border on my item and adjust the size and edges where I want them to be. And I'm going to put in a rounded corner on my corners. I think that looks nicer. I'm going to put in 11 as the value on my corners. And if you are going to be cutting this out of something like wood then you're finished. If you're going to use a product like mirrored acrylic like I am, I'm going to need to reverse engrave it because with mirrored acrylic we engrave from the back. So I can just Control A, which selects all of my items. I will just click on the mirror horizontally. And now everything has been reversed and this item is ready to go. Refer to the handout for using paper mask and other things that you'll need to know for engraving on mirrored acrylic. And this has been making refrigerator magnets specifically for Mother's Day. Thank you for watching.